the end of the 2018 NFL season, we saw a bit of surprising drama go down between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. And this is apparently one of the best kept secrets in football because apparently the two really didn't like each other. Aaron Rodgers had it out for Mike McCarthy because he was resentful that McCarthy's San Francisco 49ers opted to pass up on him for the number one overall pick in the 2005 NFL draft. To be honest, this really didn't make that much sense to me because, well, Mike McCarthy was the offensive coordinator. How much say does an offensive coordinator have in who his team takes number one overall? You could even make an argument that the head coach doesn't really have as big of a say. At the end of the day, it's the general manager's decision. But at the conclusion of this report, Mike McCarthy would get fired and the Green Bay Packers would finish off the season and eventually hire the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator at the time, Matt LaFleur, who is really just part of the coaching tree that I like to call the mini McVays, which is, the young head coach that has some sort of tie to Sean McVay, who gives off some sort of aura of being an offensive genius, that the Green Bay Packers decided to go and take a chance on him. At the time of this hiring, the owner of the Green Bay Packers made waves by the statement he said to his franchise quarterback. Mark Murphy came out and said that he is tired of the diva stuff when it comes to Aaron Rodgers, and apparently he told Aaron Rodgers not to be the problem in the organization, which pretty much means, we're getting you a new head coach. Please don't cause problems with this brand new head coach. And of course, since then, the owner of the Green Bay Packers took back these statements, saying that he's never said those statements to Aaron Rodgers. But, we moved on. The Green Bay Packers had a fairly good first season under Matt LaFleur. But I don't know how much Matt LaFleur contributed to Aaron Rodgers' success. As a matter of fact, if you look at Aaron Rodgers' statistics from the 2018 and 2019 season, they more or less look the same amount of touchdowns, maybe like 2 more interceptions and 1 more touchdown in 2019, 400 less passing yards in 2019, but he did get significantly more help from the running game. And things seem to be looking good for the Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers also cited his desires to play until the age of 40. Now, we all know why I'm making this video. If you guys didn't happen to catch the NFL draft, the Green Bay Packers completely surprised everybody when they opted to take a quarterback with their first-round pick in Jordan Love. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking. Jordan Love is young. Jordan Love does need some seasoning. He is still very raw. But at the same time, the Green Bay Packers are looking towards the future. Whenever you draft a quarterback in the first round, you're pretty much saying that within the next 4 years, this guy is going to be the guy under center no matter what. And ironically, this has happened to Aaron Rodgers himself. He got drafted to the Green Bay Packers as a late first round pick when they still had Brett Favre at the age of 35. So it's pretty ironic because currently Aaron Rodgers is 36. But bear in mind that Aaron Rodgers has come out and said multiple times that he wants to play until the age of 40. And let's be honest, Aaron Rodgers is more Tom Brady than Phillip Rivers in the sense that once he gets older, he probably will be relegated to a role where he's not going to be depending on his arm as much. Rather, they're going to be depending on his ability to be able to pick apart defenses pre-snap, which is something that Aaron Rodgers has always been phenomenal at doing. Now look, I would like to believe that everything is doing well in Green Bay, but you can't draft a quarterback and have all NFL fans assume that everything is going well in Green Bay, especially if you're a basketball fan like me and you're watching The Last Dance currently, which is an entire documentary about how the front office of the Chicago Bulls are trying to move on from the Michael Jordan-led Chicago Bulls as they were in the midst of winning championships. Anything is possible. We saw Tom Brady leave the New England Patriots, which were perennially at least making it to the Super Bowl or at least making it to the playoffs, to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You never know what's going on in the front office. And as a matter of fact, this next report that we got from The Athletic, but also posted on Yahoo Sports from Bob McGinn, who covered the Green Bay Packers for about 38 years, may give us a little bit of an insight towards what's actually going on. So according to McGinn, this is his take on the Packers taking Jordan Love. Public niceties aside, my sense is that Matt LaFleur, who is fresh from a terrific 13-3 baptismal season, simply had enough of Aaron Rodgers' act and wanted to change the narrative. With a first-round talent on the roster, the Packers would gain leverage with their imperial quarterback and his passive-aggressive style. If the Packers do indeed want to become a running team next season, they surely wouldn't want Rodgers rocking the boat and becoming even more difficult to coach. This is very interesting because you could take two sides in this argument. On one side, you could say that you don't know how difficult it is to deal with Aaron Rodgers' personality, and we've seen Aaron Rodgers' emotions get the most of him. He's had some down seasons when he was dating Olivia Munn, and then he had some phenomenal seasons when he started dating Danica Patrick. There's been issues with his family, and there's been issues with the front office throughout his career. So you don't know Aaron Rodgers' personality. We've seen his interviews, so you don't know what it takes to deal with an individual like that. So what they're saying, and this is from the Packers side of things, is that the Green Bay Packers need to say, hey, if Aaron Rodgers starts acting up, we're a run-first team. We could plug in Jordan Love, and we could easily still be okay. Although, you and I both know that's not the case. Jordan Love is not going to be nearly as good at picking apart defenses as Aaron Rodgers is currently. At least not yet. Who knows? You could give him a season or 2 seasons to sit down, and he could turn out to be that quarterback. He could be the next coming of Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes did sit down for a little bit less than a season. He played at the tail end of his rookie season, but that seasoning did him very, very well. Sitting down did him very well. He had a cannon of an arm. He was extremely erratic in college and made some horrible mistakes at reading defenses in college, but Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He is the face of the NFL today. Do I believe that Aaron Rodgers is actually difficult to coach? Well, let's read this excerpt from the Mike McCarthy versus Aaron Rodgers drama that was released about over a year ago. I'm going to leave a link to this article down below because, while each receiver and each player pretty much has to take a side between Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers, but let's take an excerpt from Greg Jennings, who apparently is taking Mike McCarthy's side here. Greg Jennings, who was a Packers receiver from 2006 to 2012, saw Aaron Rodgers as an ultra-sensitive source of toxicity. And on one hand, you could agree with Greg Jennings, but on the other hand, you have to understand when you have a talent like Aaron Rodgers on your roster, you should do whatever it takes to appease him while also trying to keep him under control. Yeah, of course, star players could be toxic and their egos could become overly inflated, but dude, it's really hard to get a star player, especially a player like Aaron Rodgers. And once you get an Aaron Rodgers, you need to do whatever it takes to make Aaron Rodgers happy. There would be eventual rumblings about Aaron Rodgers changing up Mike McCarthy's plays at the line of scrimmage because he felt like his head coach had too low of a football IQ. And for all you know, this is Mike McCarthy's first season with the Dallas Cowboys this upcoming season, so I can't attest to his football IQ. You know, for all you know, Mike McCarthy could truly be a head coach with a very low football IQ that was way beneath Aaron Rodgers. Or Mike McCarthy could be a football genius and Aaron Rodgers could be a manipulative mastermind. We have to see how he does in his first couple seasons in Dallas to truly be able to attest to that. So it's very difficult to say here. And unfortunately for us, you're going to have to take a side. Do you think that the Green Bay Packers are justified in taking Jordan Love? Do you think it's necessary for them to have this leverage over Aaron Rodgers in order to get their best out of Aaron Rodgers? To give Aaron Rodgers a sense of, hey, I need this team and this team needs me? Because to be honest, I think the Green Bay Packers definitely need Aaron Rodgers more than Aaron Rodgers needs them. And if you give Aaron Rodgers even the slightest excuse to leave, there is a head coach out in Foxborough that would have no problem trading for the 36-year-old star. Could you just imagine how terrifying that could be if Bill Belichick is able to somehow swing a trade for Aaron Rodgers and bring him to Foxborough? Could you just imagine how terrifying that would be for the rest of the AFC? Do I think that could potentially happen? Well, that's one of those things that you have to wait the entirety of a NFL season to see. At this time next year, you're going to see Aaron Rodgers either very happy to be playing for the Green Bay Packers and Matt LaFleur, not really having an issue with a run-first offense and just going with everything, or he could be stamping his feet and demanding a trade, which is probably the most likely scenario because the Green Bay Packers aren't going to release Aaron Rodgers. They're definitely going to get some value for him, and I doubt Aaron Rodgers is going to play out the remainder of his contract, especially given the fact that Jordan Love is there already. And I've said this many times before, and I'll say it again. This is kind of like my signature line. Every time a team hires a brand new head coach or there's a new regime in place, if there's even the slightest excuse to move on from the current quarterback or the current system, then that head coach is going to take it. And as you can see, Matt LaFleur took his opportunity when he drafted Jordan Love. Do I think he's going to be playing this season? No. Do I think he could be playing next season? Possibly, but I feel like without a doubt, Jordan Love is going to be under center for the Green Bay Packers by the 2022 fall season. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you think this was unnecessary? Bear in mind that at the time that the Packers drafted Jordan Love, Patrick Queen was still on the board. Isaiah Wilson, Noah Guinagin was still on the board. Jeff Gladney was still on the board. A bunch of good halfbacks and wide receivers were still on the board. Yetur Gross-Matos was still on the board. There was still a lot of help the Packers could have gotten during this selection, but they opted to draft Aaron Rodgers' replacement. Let me know how you'd feel about this if you are Aaron Rodgers. I'm your boy Microphone. I'll catch you guys in our next upload.